Just a moment for me. Hold on. Oh, that was loud. Sorry. I've been joined by Onyx the Wonder Dog. All right. The weirdness prevails. It's weird. Everything's just bizarre. I'm glad you're here today. This is Nick Stewart. This is Sunrise Santa Rosa. My guest today in the studio is Onyx the Wonder Dog, and she'll be joining us for part of the show. Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Milton Post for hosting, and taking your phone calls this morning, 850-771-0049. There's a bunch to talk about today. Yeah, she just come into the room. She just walks in. Boom, she's here. But we got a lot to talk about today. Stimulus package, and what the Democrats are doing to that. Oh, yeah. And a special guest again this morning, Shannon Rice, about the state of emergency that was pronounced last night in Milton. And so we'll talk about that this morning. She'll be joining us at 6:15 again, and look forward to her. I appreciate her coming on this morning, but it's kind of funky. It's a little funky. All right, forecast for today, partly cloudy. Considerable clouds this morning, becoming decreasing clouds later in the day. A stray shower thunderstorm possible. High near 81. Winds around 25 miles an hour. It's only a 20% chance of rain today, so. Tonight, a few clouds, stray shower thunderstorm possible. Low near 69. And tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high near 86. It is, what are we in Milton? Oops. It's 66 in Milton, it's 72 in Navarre, 72 in Gulf Breeze, and 70 in Pensacola. Welcome to the program. All right, taking your phone calls, 850-771-0049. All right. Where to start? Where do you start with this madness? We do have 2 Milton police officers that are in quarantine after possible exposure to COVID-19. That's according to a spokesperson for the city of Milton. But the police chief says that he's confirmed, but he cannot provide any details at this time. So, I hate stories like that. They're not going to give you any names, they're not going to give you any kind of it's just, yeah, or how it happened, none of that. Governor Ron DeSantis issued executive order October 20th through the, Order 2080, directing all persons whose point of departure originates from outside the state of Florida in an area with substantial community spread to include the New York tri-state area, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, and entering the state of Florida through airports to isolate or quarantine for a period of 14 days from the time they enter into the state of Florida, or the duration of the person's presence in the state of Florida. So if you're coming in from outside for vacation, you're flying in, and you're on quarantine. You're not, I'm sitting in my hotel room. But I get it. Most of the stuff that's come into this, most of the COVID cases have come in from outside. That's where it comes in. People travel. And Onyx is wanting to participate. But the whole thing is that they want to come into the state. But listen, we've got to crack down on this thing, and isolation for these people is absolutely necessary. I get it. Medical Specialties Group of Louisiana, MSGLA, in Pensacola, will distribute a COVID-19 rapid test kit. The test is a blood test that looks to detect IgG and IgM antibodies to aid in the diagnosis of the primary and secondary coronavirus infection. With just a prick of the finger, your results are ready in 5 to 10 minutes. That's better than 7 days. It's a blood test. It's not a swab. Channel 3's Rebecca Castro took the test Monday morning and her results came out as negative. A negative test is determined by one solid red line by the letter C for control. If the person taking the test has COVID-19, the red lines would show up by the letters IgG and IgM to signify these antibodies are present. If this test is positive, a patient would have to be recommended for the COVID-19 swab test or told to self-quarantine. But the point is, the rapid test, it's going to be made right here. And they just got to get it out. And the speed with which you could tell, like there was a story yesterday of a girl that was sick. She took the swab, and before she could get the test results back, she died. So, I want to pause here just for a moment. I'm going to go off on a little rabbit trail because I find this important. Even if they find you to be infected with the COVID-19, what are they doing for you? How are they treating it? Because there's no cure for it, no known cure for it. So they just got to give you fluids, or to me, it's just bizarre. We'll talk a little bit later about somebody taking fish tank cleaner for their COVID-19. But there's no known cure and no vaccine. And so if you find out you're positive, you just stay inside. Now, a medical specialist group of Louisiana is also distributing hand sanitizer that is proven to ward off germs, including COVID-19, for 8 hours. The company hopes to distribute the product along with other disinfectants that can be used on surfaces and equipment to hospitals and other medical practices to help keep health professionals safe from the virus. So, a hand sanitizer that will work for 8 hours. And it is known to push away the coronavirus. Okay. And I know we've got some distilleries that are starting to create, stop making beer or whatever liquor they're doing, Tito's, and they're changing it over to make hand sanitizer. Okay. I like people getting creative. I like people filling the need. As of Monday, governors across all 50 states and Washington, D.C. have activated more than 8,000 National Guard personnel. These units have been tasked mostly with logistical support, including distributing food, critical medical supplies, assisting with mobile and drive-through testing facilities, and helping manage state emergency operations centers. But as more states order their citizens to stay inside, it's raised the questions about the Guard's role in implementing the governor's orders. The activation of the Guard, along with President Donald Trump invoking several wartime powers, has fueled rumors about the state and federal using military personnel to invoke martial law. Now, is there any other way to distribute medical supplies, or, do you have to use the National Guard for that? It does look hinky. It looks hinky. Oh, no. We're not doing that. That's not what they're here for. But in a time like this, it does look that way. And I'm not convinced it's not that way. I think that I don't want to freak anybody out, but you have to understand the way it looks. That they get them out there, and when everybody gets in place, martial law. And I do agree people have to stay home. Well, this isn't martial law. This isn't that kind of thing, because people can go to the store if they need to go to the store. They can go to they're encouraged to get out and walk and go to the park. Not the beach, not the state parks, but you know. But it is concerning. 2-year-old boy is confirmed, the fourth person confirmed to have the coronavirus in Santa Rosa County, making the child one of the youngest known cases in Florida. A 2-year-old child from Alachua County is also among the confirmed cases. Additionally, Escambia County's total number of confirmed cases rose to 9 on Monday afternoon. Now, the total for the two counties is 13. What has to happen for Governor DeSantis to go? Because the numbers keep rising. It's going to rise. It's going to rise. I find myself thinking, I wonder if everybody's going to get this. No matter what you do, you're going to get it. It's just how fast they come out with vaccines or whatever for it. Yeah, interesting. But what has to happen for the state to do a shutdown? Because without a vaccine or some kind of medicine for it, which they're working on, but without that, how do you stop it? How do you stop it except making people stay home? Jason says, if you see National Guard on the streets helping and they're not wearing gloves and masks, I've got news. They're not there to help. I agree. Jeff says a COVID-19 test down to minutes versus days. Sanitizer that kills the virus for hours. American ingenuity will come through every time. Yeah. And it's the private sector. It's the private sector that's doing it. And it's awesome. I got a story here we'll get to later on that the United States, they found, was the most prepared out of all the countries in the world, was the most prepared for this. And they said, well, they weren't perfect. Well, no, because you can't say, oh, we know this particular virus is coming. You can't. But they said that they were the most prepared out of all the countries. An Arizona man has died and his wife is in critical condition after they ingested chloroquine phosphate, an aquarium cleaning product similar to drugs that have been named by the president as potential treatments for the coronavirus infection. Now, I was thinking, I'm like, they took the chloroquine? No, they took this aquarium cleaner and ingested that and killed the man. The woman's in critical condition because they didn't want to get the coronavirus. People saying, see how dangerous it is? They drank aquarium cleaner. You don't do that. The couple in their 60s experienced immediate distress after swallowing the drug, an additive used at the aquarium to clean the fish tanks. The chloroquine phosphate shares the same active ingredient as malaria drugs that President Trump is pushing. So they're putting the blame on President Trump, not these morons that drank aquarium cleaner. Don't do that. Listen. I know that sounds cruel and mean to call them morons. I know somebody died. But use your head. Use your brain. Senator Rick Scott on Sunday called for a moratorium on rent and mortgage payments. The Naples Republican said big steps must be taken to erase economic burdens on Americans facing a global pandemic. The best thing we can do is to help individuals and small businesses right now is a moratorium on rent, mortgages, fees, and utilities. Rather than bailing out big businesses, we should be focusing on those that need the help the most. The call came days after President Donald Trump ordered a freeze on evictions and foreclosures with HUD-backed loans. Rep. Chevin Jones, a South Florida Democrat, had previously called such a suspension in Florida along with stopping utility cutoffs. But Scott's proposal is more radical, suggesting landlords, leaders, and local providers not be allowed to collect bills for the moment. So, to push off rent for a couple of months, I think that would be a wise thing. Sunrise Santa Rosa, good morning. Is this Shannon?
Yes, Nick. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? All right. So, I'm just going to do a quick update here on what's going on. So last night they had the meeting for City Council in Milton about the emergency. What is it called?
It's a declaration for a state of emergency.
A declaration for the state of emergency. Now, we talked about this yesterday, and some of it was very concerning. And so they had the meeting last night, and you spent a good, hour, 2 hours on this?
Probably almost 2 hours, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Between.
So tell us what the outcome was. I've got some of this in front of me. The guidance to the public, I think, is the big concern. But go ahead and tell us what your take is on this, because you were the sole no vote on this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So first, the official title is Declaration of Emergency as a result of COVID-19. That's what the paperwork here says. The intent for a state of emergency is so we can, the biggest intent is so that we can recoup funds. We're going to be expending funds, and I don't know what that will be or how much that will be, but hopefully we'll be able to recoup some of these funds from federal and state government.
What
in support
funds?
Of that, of course.
What funds are we talking about?
Well, I don't know what we'll be expending. I don't know what we're going to have to do yet. And so far, I'm not sure that, we've probably spent some, but I'm not sure where or what, and that would be a city manager. He's handling that, but I don't know that we've had to spend funds yet. Maybe some protective gear if they've needed that. So there's that. And then the other part is when you declare a state of emergency, they start giving authority to other places where they wouldn't normally have it.
That's
and that
right.
was my...
Yeah, that's a big concern.
So, go ahead.
No, I said that's a big concern, absolutely.
So there's some verbiage in the declaration that was ambiguous, and I spoke of that the other day. And after we spoke the other day, I think the mayor had listened, or someone had contacted her and told her what was discussed, and she rewrote the declaration. But all she did was she tried to explain, she tried to justify why what I thought was infringing on our rights was okay. And there is no justification as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So it wasn't going anywhere. It didn't matter to me. We were given this new version 30 minutes before the meeting. I don't know if you watched the meeting or not, but if you did, it should be interesting to a lot of people that two council members that were on the phone had not even received a copy of it, and had not brought up that they had not received a copy of it. So I don't know what they were going to do, if they were going to vote on this without seeing it or not. I don't know. But when I said they hadn't asked if they had received a copy, then our city manager emailed it to them.
All right.
So the public had not seen this. We had only received it a half an hour before, and we were voting in agreement of this.
All right, we've got hold on. We've got Shannon Rice with us from the Milton City Council, and she's gone over the state of emergency declaration from last night. So you were the only one that voted no. Now, here's some of the things that stood out to me as I was looking at this. It was really odd as I was reading this because. When I was reading some of the backstory on it, or from the P&J or whatever, they were saying, well, it's keep crowds down of for 10 or less, keep people from congregating in groups. It's kind of mentioned in here, but the number's not mentioned. It's just crowd control, is basically how it's worded.
Correct, and they also kept trying to put it that like it only has to do with parks.
Yeah,
this paperwork does not say parks. It's just they were trying to spin it and focus on that it's all about parks, and it's not all about parks. I don't know what else it's about, but it does not say all about parks, and they would not put all about parks in here. Just like the police chief said he wouldn't infringe on anyone's civil rights.
Right.
Well, I'm not talking about rights for equality. I'm talking about our basic rights.
Right. Now, as I was looking at it, it says, let's talk about, we want you to use the parks, bring appropriate sanitizer or sanitizing wipes before and after touching metal surfaces, gas pumps, playground equipment. I'm like, who's going to be, number one, these things are hard to find at the moment. And number two is that, some of this stuff is just odd. It's just an odd...
I'm just going to tell you, it's all stupid. The mayor's not our mother. We all know what we need to do. She even gave an example in the meeting, telling the story about when you're a mother and how you deal with your children, and that's exactly how this is written.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what people have elected as mayor of the city of Milton.
All right, so they passed this thing.
Well, that's the dictator mother.
Yeah, so they passed this thing, but now what? What does this do, and what does it open up for the people of Milton?
Well, I don't know. I kept trying to hold their feet to the fire, and the mayor said she's not going to make other ordinances or make other rules as far as curfew and as far as restricting alcohol sales. So that's on the record. The city manager kept saying that, that he's not, like, they're not going to harm the public in a way. I consider it harming the public when you infringe on the rights. And so did the police chief. So hopefully they'll do that. But, this document gives them a lot of power, so... It does, because
it's very vague, and that's always been my thing, is when they do these kinds of things, I like going to the store for essentials. Well, and everybody's idea of essentials are different. You know what I'm saying? So you go to the store, and maybe for me, and I don't drink, but maybe for me, a case of beer is essential, or a carton of smokes. But those things are not essential. And so, but so it just says essentials.
Well, I can give you an example. Yeah. I can give you an example that's real, that is real to me right now. I need aloe vera. Yeah. And I need aloe vera because I'm going through radiation treatment and I need it for my skin. Would I have to explain my medical issues to a police officer if I want to go out and get aloe?
HIPAA.
Because they may not think that that's essential. I don't have a prescription for it.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
So all of this is weird. I don't like it. I don't think that there's any justification for giving up our rights. We're all adults. We should be treated as such. I don't believe that anyone up there on that council, or the mayor, any of them, should be acting like they know better, because they don't know better than the public, and we work for the public, and I think they've lost sight of that.
Now let me ask you this, because this is the other thing that stuck out to me. If this doesn't do what you're afraid it's going to do, it isn't any different than what Governor DeSantis has already declared for the state. So why would it even matter? Does that make sense? I mean,
I don't get to vote on that for what just happened with the state. I didn't get a vote on that. I wasn't sitting up on council saying that I agree with it. So that's not within my control right now, and I wasn't elected to sit there and be a decision-making part of what the governor's doing.
Sure.
I was elected by the citizens of Milton to be on that council and to represent them the way I believe that they want to be represented, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no,
I do not think the other council members are.
Yeah, but my question is, it's no different than it doesn't do anything more than what the state does. The state's already declared some of these same things. Don't go in groups of 10 and stay home if you can. All those things are already done. So if this is that same thing as what they're trying to put it forward as, why do it? There's no point in it.
Well, there's a point to it, too. If you keep saying the same message again and again to the people, that the people may give up. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's weird. It is a weird thing, and I'm glad you're there. I wish there was more of you, because this is disturbing. And even if they don't mean it to be disturbing, and I'm not casting aspersions on anybody, but when you start dinking with this stuff and you're not specific, it's just absolutely frightening because somebody can take it and use it wrongly.
Well, it came up several times that this is what it says, but this is what I meant by that. And
yeah.
It could have been changed. It could have been changed right there on the spot. Jeff Snow did ask them to take out one of the sections to remove it. They would not remove it.
Wow.
Mary Johnson sat up there and said, this should not be like, this is not like a dictatorship. This is just stronger. It's stronger. The mayor said again and again that this is not like a dictatorship. Well, looks like it to me. Looks like he gave that out. Now, if no one exercises those powers, fine. And that's great. But for paperwork, I don't like it. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. I don't like it.
Yeah, if you wanna read this stuff, you can go on the Milton Post, and it's posted up there. You can kind of snag it and take a look at it. But wow, it is weird. I don't need a nanny, right? I don't need somebody to tell me this. I got common sense. Now, some people don't. Some people don't have common sense. that is a commodity that we're lacking sometimes. But listen, these instructions. These are things, if it is what they intend it to be, has already been declared by the state. Governor DeSantis has already declared these things. This is not an important document unless you are reaching further, which it does word it that way. And that's scary. And that's a scary thing.
You know what keeps coming up again and again? And, like, you just said it, and I heard other people say it, like, not all people have... I don't know, like, as if anyone is different from us.
Yeah.
All of the people in my circle of friends are following the rules. They're being careful. All the people that I talk to are being careful. You're being careful.
Yes.
We're already being careful. Most people do know what to do and are being careful.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't seen anyone out on the street doing these things that some of the council felt we needed these stronger rules for. I haven't seen those people.
Right, and if they come out with a note saying, "Hey, here are some things maybe you didn't think of to look out for," gas pump handles. I heard that the other day. My colleagues amongst, I didn't even think about that, and just things we don't normally think about. Throw that out there. And say, just be careful, make sure you're doing this. Just a reminder from the city of Milton, blah, blah, blah. And just, but this is just, to me, just way overstepping. And it's frightening.
Well, like I told you the other day, I'm not scared of anything. So It doesn't scare me. It makes me mad. I don't appreciate it. I am the only person up on the council that served. Maybe this means more to me. I would think it would mean more to them. They've all got children and grandchildren. But hey.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shannon, we appreciate you and appreciate what you're standing up for up there, and just keep plugging away, hammering at them, hammer them.
Thank you. You have a good day.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you, Shannon Rice from Milton City Council. This document is just absolutely weird. And Section 4 was what really concerned Shannon. It's guidance to the public. All citizens are called upon and directly to comply with necessary emergency measures, to cooperate with public officials and emergency services forces in executing emergency operations plans, and to obey and comply with the lawful directions of the properly identified officers. Well, who doesn't do that? We as citizens, we comply. But the way it's worded is like these forces that come in, you will do what they say. And it smacks of this martial law thing. In additional guidance from county, state, and federal authorities, including the CDC and the Florida Department of Health, citizens are strongly encouraged to do the following. Document the impacts of COVID-19 and orders from city, county, state, and federal authorities, and provide that information to the city of Milton so that the council can consider means to assist in resolving any and all issues to the residents. So you have to document. What? You have to document. You keep a diary, keep a ledger, a journal. That's so stupid. Reduce movements to essential travel to provide food, care for loved ones. We're doing that. We're doing that. Look at the roads. People are not on the roads. Use appropriate sanitizing wipes before and after touching metal surfaces. Okay? Bring sanitizer, disinfecting wipes to clean all surfaces expected to be touched at a city park. That's not my job. Be considerate of the commitment and sacrifices of our first responders and healthcare professionals by taking recommended infection prevention measures seriously. Who's not doing that? Who's not doing that? Why is this necessary? Unless you're opening it up for something greater. A police state. May not be the intent. That I'm not saying it is the intent, but it opens it up for that. Because there's no other reason for this document. Governor DeSantis has already said the state, here's what the recommended things are. You don't need this. It is unnecessary. Jason says, knock at the door of the police. We need to make sure you're using the proper sanitizers and wipes, or we're coming to take you away. Kim says, so they want people to clean the park. I know. No. Now, listen, if you've got little ones, okay, let me ask some common sense stuff. With this COVID-19, would you take kids to the park? Would you? And have them touch surfaces? I don't think so. Maybe you would. I would not. But the whole time, I'd be wiping their hands down. I wouldn't be wiping the equipment down. I'd be wiping the kids' hands down. Daniel says you're using 1-ply instead of 2-ply. That's it. You're going to jail. Are all Milton employees going to start wearing those tall, what? Oh, Grand Poobah hats. Maybe. It is concerning that can we acknowledge that a lot of times, and not just Milton, but a lot of times, and whether it's Santa Rosa Board of County Commissioners or Escambia County or whatever, sometimes fail to see what they're doing and how it comes across. It may not be intended that way, but how it comes across. Rusty goes, break out the tinfoil hats. I know. But listen, the more I look into this stuff, man, the more tinfoil I buy. It's power tripping. Yeah, Milton Post says sounds like power tripping. It is power tripping. What is the purpose of this document? You could declare a state of emergency. Hey, we are doubling down on what the state said. We agree with that. You take the right precautions, and here they are. And just repeat them. This is not doing that. This words things differently, and it is concerning, especially as they are who the National Guard is everywhere. This should concern everyone. Rusty says only one roll of tinfoil per person. I know. You have to make several trips. 850-771-0049. What do you think? Does this bother you? I want to know, does this concern you? Or you got to go, nah, it's not a big deal. But that they wouldn't change the language. That's not what I meant. What I meant was this. Well, then say that. But they refuse to change it. Does that concern you? Now, I've talked to Mayor Lindsay several times. I like her, nice lady. But that doesn't mean I agree with everything she says. And I think that this is a misstep or an overstep for what's going on. 850-771-0049. Get your thoughts on that. 5 college students from the University of Tampa tested positive for coronavirus after coming back from spring break. WFLA reported that the students were traveling together with other University of Tampa students before testing positive. The school wouldn't tell where the students were during spring break. Oh, thank you. They were on spring break. They got the coronavirus on spring break, but they wouldn't tell where they were on spring break. Kim says, this sounds like an open invitation for the city to do what it wants to do. It's what it sounds like. Jason says, it's aluminum foil these days. Yeah. Destiny says, pretty sure these rules are common sense, but some people won't do what's necessary. Yeah. But you don't understand. It's Destiny, and I agree, but that's not how they worded it. That's not how they worded it. You got to go take a look at it because it's worded really funky. CVS is hiring 50,000 full-time, part-time, and temporary employees in what the company is calling the most ambitious hiring drive in the company's history. The roles are being sought immediately. Open position for store associates, home delivery drivers, distribution center employees, and member customer service professionals. The company will be using virtual job fairs, virtual interviews, and virtual job tryouts in the hiring process. The company says it's working to fill many of the roles with furloughed workers from Hilton, Marriott, though not all those roles will be filled. Employees currently working with CVS during the COVID-19 outbreak are also receiving bonuses ranging from $150 to $500 depending on their position. Good. Dollar General is hiring thousands of workers. Rusty says, yes, it bothers me. They should follow the direction from the state, not make their own rules. Overstepping power. President Trump said during a Saturday afternoon briefing that Hanes Clothing Company will be retrofitting its means of production to apply such much-needed medical face masks, which have been at the center of the coronavirus response effort. He said the response from the private sector has been amazing, that there are many different industries and corporations that have offered to help the public and the government. Bravo to Hanes. We're making masks. Good. Grover Robinson, the mayor of Pensacola, is donating his mayor's salary to help the city with its coronavirus response. He made the announcement at a news conference yesterday. He asked the city to donate the money to Pensacola Energy and Sanitation Services to help those who are out of work and need help paying their bills. Thank you. That's brilliant. It's not going to make a tremendous drop in the bucket, but what I want to communicate to you is I'm not afraid. If I was afraid for myself, we'd be doing something to retain that. But I'm not going to ask you to lose your salary if I'm not willing to do the same at this particular time. Good job, Mayor Robinson. Thank you. Florida's been hard hit by the coronavirus. More than 1,200 cases. States with fewer cases have already issued a stay-at-home order. But DeSantis said Monday that such an order would not be advisable. Even as Florida municipalities begin to issue their own orders of stay-at-home, the city of Miami Beach approved a stay-at-home order on Monday. Now, Governor DeSantis does not want to hurt the business. But can we stem or stop this if we don't stay at home? if he says, you know what, businesses, here's what we can do. I don't know, work out a deal with businesses if you close down for 5 days, 10 days. What do? What is it you do? I mean, Disney World shut down, for the love of God. And how do you push that forward and say, look, Disney World shut down, Universal shut down, all these big things are shut down. Let's take 10 days. Let's take 10 days. And get it done and get it over with, rather than drag it out. Okay, let's talk about the stimulus bill real quick. Where is it? Senate Democrats on Monday blocked a cloture vote that would have allowed $1.8 trillion coronavirus stimulus package to advance for a full vote in the upper chamber. The vote to end debate on the massive package failed because 60 votes were needed and just one Democrat. Alabama's Doug Jones voted A with a final tally 49-46. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell needed 60 votes to end debate on the bill and to allow it to go full vote in the Senate. There was 4 that were out in seclusion, self-containment. It means at least 12 Democrats would have had to join all Republicans in voting in favor. The sweeping bill, meant to offset the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, was blocked Sunday night by Democrats who said the package did not do enough to protect American workers and was essentially a slush fund for the GOP's spending. Here's what the Democrats wanted added in. This is what they had tried to sneak into the bill. At one point, she tried to do abortion into the bill, Nancy Pelosi. Fund abortions. Tax credits for solar energy and wind energy provisions to force employers to give special new treatment to big labor, and new emission standards for the airlines. So they're not concerned about coronavirus. They're concerned about the Green New Deal. Solar energy, wind energy, emissions. That's what they're concerned about. That's what they snuck into this bill. House Democrats are being criticized. They allotted expenses in their proposal for an energy stimulus bill. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus outbreak, including $35 million meant for the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. That's what they put in the coronavirus bill, the stimulus bill. That's why they blocked the stimulus. Plus, it would make President Trump look good. These people are wicked. Are we getting that? Does anybody get that these Democrats are wicked, evil? They're trying to tank the economy. You see how Wall Street responds when Trump says we're going to do this, and then boom, it goes back up. Democrats want $35 million for the Kennedy Center. Yep. They have now twice rejected the economic stimulus package aimed at aiding the American businesses. Republicans claim that their colleagues on the other side are attempting to cram a wish list of unrelated demands into the bill. Yep. Adding fuel to the fire, news began circulating last week that Majority Whip Jim Clyburn reportedly told colleagues that the bill provided a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision. It's not about you. Do you understand? The stimulus bill was not about the American people, according to the Democrats. It was about making it to fit their vision. Clyburn's comments came during a conference call last Thursday featuring more than 200 Democrats, in which House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer allegedly pushed for environmental measures and increased collective bargaining powers to be included in the stimulus package. Man, how wicked and evil do you have to be? These are wicked, evil people. Groups representing 30,000 physicians signed a letter called for the suspension of abortions in order to preserve medical resources critical to fighting the coronavirus pandemic. The letter was published on Monday's. Officials reported greater numbers of those infected. The letter was signed by 5 groups representing physicians who practice according to the Hippocratic Oath. That included the American Association of Pro-Life Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the American College of Pediatricians, Christian Medical and Dental Associations, the Catholic Medical Association, the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons. The letter objected to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists classifying elective abortions as essential health care. That is not essential. Abortion is elective. And it's taking the necessary medical supplies that they need to fight the coronavirus. Masks, gloves. Surgeries that are not emergency have been canceled. Dental that is not necessary has been canceled. Why? To preserve these items. And yet abortion goes on. Because it's essential. It's not essential. And I'm glad for this group that called for this. Now we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. 850-771-0049. Joe Scarborough was slammed on social media for falsely claiming that no doctors were present at Monday's White House press briefing on the coronavirus outbreak. Scarborough was among many media personalities on Twitter who quickly noticed that Dr. Anthony Fauci, a prominent figure in the White House's coronavirus task force, wasn't on the stage. And because he wasn't on the stage, he says, "There's no public benefit to this briefing. The network should all cut away," Scarborough tweeted. Bland pronouncements, the repeating of catchphrases, bad medical advice, no science, no doctors, just Trump's Roy Kahn, meaning Burr. But Dr. Birx was up there. Birx, the White House response coordinator. Dr. Birx was up there. So no medical people. Scarborough knows best. What a moron. Speaking of morons, have you been watching the little bit? Joe Biden is having his own coronavirus response. What a train wreck. There's a video out there, and I'll try to post it on the Milton Post if it's not already up there, of Joe Biden doing a press, his internet coronavirus response, and the teleprompter messes up, and you see his hand do this, and he can't function. He can't function without the teleprompter. He doesn't know what to say. He meanders and wanders around, and he goes, "Oh, we just go." I said enough about that. What a ding dong! You put Joe Biden out there as much. Now the Democrats are afraid that he's being too quiet during this thing. They're afraid that he's being too. But what do? Here's the thing: President Trump is not campaigning during this crisis. He's not campaigning. His focus is on the crisis. It has a bad look if Joe Biden was out there campaigning, but he's got to. So what do you do? What do you do? Now the Democrats thought this was going to be, this guy we're going to break Trump. I don't know, because Joe Biden, when he does get out there, is a mess. But he's not out there very much. What do you do? What does that look like? Listen, this is very funky. And Joe Biden, wow, just wow. But that whole event of him doing his thing with a teleprompter, failed miserably. Let's see. I've been jumping around, so I'm kind of lost. All right. The 50 states and Washington, D.C. have activated more than 8,000 National Guard personnel. They are to handle medical supplies, deliveries. Are you buying that at all? Is that one of those things that you're like, oh yeah, that's normal to me? I don't think so. It doesn't look kosher. Kim says on the Democrats thing, their stuff they snuck into the stimulus bill was paying off student loans. Yep, that was in there. But logistical support from the National Guard. I don't see that. I don't see that as being. It doesn't make any sense. You got the National Guard out there. Are they wearing hazmat suits? Are they wearing masks? Do they have their guns on them? What? 8,000 National Guard. I don't know. It looks kind of squirrely to me. None of this sits right. You get what you see. What you see is not what they're telling you. It's not what they're telling you. The state of emergency from Milton, what they're saying doesn't match what we're seeing. And the government saying, oh no, this is not martial law. No, it's not that. They keep repeating it. But it's not what we're seeing. Now we haven't gotten martial law yet. But you've got several of these big cities on lockdown. What button does this coronavirus push to create a lockdown? I mean, an absolute lockdown. And I don't know how far away that is. And everything's canceled. You can forget anything right now. Everything's canceled. Church has been canceled till whenever. We don't know. Any kind of meetings have been canceled. We don't know. The thing that surprised me when Shannon called in, Shannon Rice from the city Milton, on the city council, when they had their meeting last night, 2 of them hadn't even received the statement, and they were going to vote on it. Didn't have a chance to read it. How weird is that? How weird is that? We have Jason says, glad they haven't called the UN troops to help. Oh, yeah, well, they've got their own problems at the moment. So, how comfortable are you with this thing? How comfortable are you with the response? Is it too much? Some people think it's too much. Here's my thought. If capital I, capital F, if it is what they say it is, why would you not let's shut everything down for 10 days? Yes, it's going to hurt business. Yes, it's going to do, but everybody's off. Except medical and police. That's it. If it is what they say it is, why would you not do that? Kim says they said they'll put people in jail in Hawaii for violating their stay-at-home order. Yeah. I just think that it ought to be one of those things that you get to go out to the store and they have a ready-made box for you. There's a box of food and a box of paper products. Take it and go. It's this price. No, there's no shopping. You just pull up, we bring it out, you pay for it, off. You go home. And stay home for 10 days. And stem this thing. If it is what they say it is, why wouldn't you do that? If it is a global pandemic, if it is such an emergency, and it's such a deadly disease, why would this not happen? It's not. What we see doesn't match what they say. And that should be concerning to all of us. Look at what you're seeing with your eyes. Look around you. And match it to what they're saying. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. The whole thing is hinky. Let's make it do what it's supposed to do. So if it is as deadly as you say it is, let's make all businesses closed. Grocery stores open, pharmacy open, medical, police. That's it. Bob Johnson, I don't believe will participate in any incarceration for violations of any orders that violate our constitutional rights that are not tremendously causing health or safety problems. Okay. But if he has no choice, maybe that's what the National Guard is there for. If they won't do it, if Bob Johnson won't do it, that's what the National Guard is there for. You see? Weird. Absolutely the weirdest. What happens the rest of this week? What does Friday look like? We'll find out. We will find out. It is the weirdest. All right, kids, that does it for me. Have a happy day. Let's go to the forecast again. All right, for today, considerable clouds this morning and some decreased clouds in the afternoon. Stray shower thunderstorms possible, high near 81. Then tonight, some clouds, a stray shower thunderstorm possible, and a low near 69. It's 66 in Milton, it's 72 in Navarre, 72 in Gulf Breeze, and 71 in Pensacola. Have a blessed day.